Hi, how you doing? Okay, this is a part 2 video. The other one's called Transgender Love for Bruce Lee. Okay, this one is because after I made that first one, I walked around my city. I'm a walker. Since then, I've been walking the whole time. Anyway, and I've been pondering everything, letting it seep in, see if I properly represented Bruce Lee, who obviously I love very much. And there are some things that still need to be said to properly represent his philosophy on things. Okay? The thing about Bruce Lee is that you want to get the book, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do. I have in the first video, I have the playlist that's in the link about self-defense. If you look through that one, you'll see a book review for his book about about Jeet Kune Do. Get the book. It's not expensive. It's not hard to find either. Okay. If you look at that, there you realize, and you really, like there's also another book review in there by his daughter, Shannon Lee. Be Water, my friend. Be Like Water, my friend, I think it's called. After you start really spend really lots of time pondering his message, you realize his movies are very deep. He has like a degree in philosophy. He's a deep thinker, very zen, very philosophical, and his movies reflect his concepts more than you realize at first. At first, they're just kung fu movies, But then, once you really get to know Bruce Lee, you realize that he's hidden the messages of his philosophy in his movies more than you thought, Enter the Dragon, which is his like humdinger of all movies. It's his best one. Just the best movie. It's just the best movie. It's one of the best movies. I love it. It has some huge gems in that one. One gem is he's on his way to a martial arts competition, and there's this other competitor that's like, oh, what type of martial arts do you like? And he's just taunting him and taunting him and taunting him. And he wants to fight him. Let's fight. You think your martial arts is tough? Let's fight. And they're on their way to the competition. So Bruce Lee's, if you've seen his movies, you know how he rolls his eyes like that. He rolls his eyes like, oh my gosh. And he like rolls his eyes and goes, and inhales and exhales, And then he says, okay, let's compete. He has an idea. And he says, and in the description box of this one, I'll put a little link of that scene. You got to see it. So he says, let's get in the boat and let's go to that island. There's no room on this boat for us to fight in a proper fight. That island will be perfect. Let's get in the boat. We'll row to that island, and we'll have the fight. And so they get in the boat. He says, you get in the boat first. And the guy gets in the boat, and then he lets it go out, and he lets go of the rope, and the boat, the guy's floating off into the ocean. And he's like, because just before that happened, he says, what kind of martial arts do you do? And Bruce Lee said, the art of fighting without fighting. Okay? The art of fighting without fighting. Okay, that's everything in Jeet Kune Do. Remember, it's not kung fu, it's gung fu. It's a feminine energy way to self-defense. Be like water. Water's a feminine energy. Okay? We avoid fights completely, just every chance. We don't enjoy hurting people or even enjoy fighting, but we're thankful. It's part of Jeet Kune Do that while it's happening, you're kind of, a part of you is thankful that you get to do what you've been practicing doing in a way too, That's just, it's everything. Every little part is part of it, It'll all add power to you, even the parts that don't seem like they're part of martial arts. But so, like in the first one, I talked about having the devil in your eyes, and then like that right there, that alone has I probably won't get in a fight just because of that. Because if somebody wants to beat me up, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna realize, ooh, this is not that maybe, you know, they're going to wonder if this is the kind of person they should be fighting, you know, because I can have a very evil non-fear. Like I can just be very not afraid in a really scary way, you know. That's scary. You know, what kind of person isn't afraid? You know, that's pretty scary, you know. So that's part of it. And anyway, so I was thinking, like, I talk about in the first video about conventional Christians and conservative Republicans and Trump supporters and religiosos and Muslims and Christians. You know, I talk about this thing, you know, because they make it scary because they can kill you and think they're going to go to heaven for it, you know, because their religion encourages it, you know, and how scary that is and how that makes you just not sure what to expect, you know. But the point I want to make in this video is that, you know, like a big way to avoid a fight with these people is to just go through love and empathy. Remember, you're the good guy, you know, you're the one with spiritual maturity and sophistication, you know. So in my playlist, and I'll put this in the link too, the Spiral Living, it's a pretty big playlist. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see blue spiral dynamics, red spiral dynamics, green spiral dynamics, orange spiral dynamics, purple spiral dynamics. It's the different dynamics of developmental psychology, okay, about how to develop the psyche and mature the ego and the... Okay, so you have to realize that all those people I mentioned, those are very much blue spiral people, okay? Like I live in Utah, Mormons and conventional Christians and conservative Republicans, these are very blue spiral people, okay? And in developmental psychology, you'll learn to love each person. It becomes immature. The higher level of maturity is the purple spiral dynamics. If you have purple spiral dynamics about you, and we're all like not all one thing, we're all, you know, a little bit of purple, a little bit of orange, a little bit of green, you know, or something like that. Some people are almost completely one spiral thing. You know, the Mormons in Utah, because they're conservative Republican and they're Mormons, they are just the epitome of blue spiral dynamics. And they can be scary when you're transgender until you realize where they are in maturity. They're blue spiral people, okay? And blue spiral people see that everything is black and white, you know, everything is black and white. There's the truth, you know, so they would look at my video and they would say, you know, I can't help it. That's just the truth. It's just the way it is. There aren't three genders, there's just two. It's just the way it is. I can't help it, you know. The idea of three genders, and I have lots of videos on that if you're not familiar with that. The idea of three genders is way too much. They're not going to be able to understand that. They aren't going to be able to understand a lot of the things that it takes to be my friend, you know, to love me and appreciate me. Through empathy, I have looked at myself through their eyes, because that's just, I'm an empath. I can see lots of things I can see things through other people's eyes. I can see me through their blue spiral dynamics, the eyeballs, and I can love and appreciate them, because like through their eyes, I am hideous, you know. No wonder they you know, like I'm pretty ugly looking through their eyes, you know. So basically, you can win some and you lose some. You can please some of the people some of the time, but not all the people all the time. It's wrong. Like, do you want to be everybody's friend? Like, everybody isn't your friend, you know. You can love and appreciate those people, because like it's all a developmental thing. Like, at least they're not red spiral. Red spiral is really low, you know. And blue spiral is an improvement from red spiral, you know. And then green spiral is an improvement from blue spiral. And orange spiral, you know what I mean? It's just a person. The purpose of life is to know thyself. And we're all doing our best. And nobody needs, it's a weakness for like for orange spiral to look at blue spiral and just to be completely appalled of them, you know. They're not, you know, everybody's doing their best and everything's an improvement, you know. People are improving and they're learning through their many reincarnations and lives, you know. So, you know, but not everybody can be your friend. A blue spiral person, I just don't get to have blue spiral friends, you know. It's just like I may want them to be my friend, but it's not gonna work. They're always gonna feel sorry for me. They're never gonna see me as a female. They're always gonna see me misled by Satan and feel sorry for me. They're never gonna see any of this as me being mature. As they're just never gonna see me as a beautiful person. They may say they will, but they can't do it. And so it's wrong for me to expect them to. They just, you know, if sometimes you have to, it's your family or your co-workers or even your boss that's blue spiral, you just have to appreciate them, but they can only, you know, it's kind of like a cat and a mouse, you know. A mouse shouldn't want to be a cat's friend too much because that's just it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So I can look at them, you know, so it's kind of like when you can see things this way, you're winning with Bruce. That's why this playlist is called Winning with Bruce Lee Part 2, because it's the part 2 to the first one, but it's about how to really win. How to win is to not get in a fight in the first place because you looked through empathy and love, and you loved and empathized and appreciated their perspective. You know, it's true. From their perspective, I'm not a woman and I'm hideous and Satan has misled me. You know, but you know, that's not how I'm going to look at myself, and that's not. So I'll also leave a link in here on a friend. So on what a friend is, I'll leave a link of short video about what a friend is. It's not my video, it's someone else's video. This short video of what a friend is, these are the 10 commandments for transgender people. Okay? Like sacred 10 commandments for I don't know if it's 10 things, but it's like that kind of a thing. Don't you dare let anyone too close that doesn't qualify according to this system of who your friend should and shouldn't be. Okay? You know, like for example, a friend encourages you and celebrates your successes. A blue spiral person's never going to celebrate look, I got top surgery. Oh, you look so much better. No, it's not. They're not going to see it. You're not going to look better. You're going to look sadder and uglier to them. So, you know, you love and you win the game by empathizing and loving them, appreciating them for where they are and their progression and their developmental progression and ego development. But you also take care of yourself by not letting them get too close, you know, loving them at a distance, so to speak, you know, and avoiding the fight in the first place, you know. You might not have to let the devil go into your heart for too long. Just scare him off a little bit and then cast the Satan out and let the light and love come in, and then just fill your heart with love and empathy for him, and then you win. And that's winning with Bruce, and that's true Jeet Kune Do. Okay? So I'll leave these links in the description. I'll also leave another one of just a Jim Carrey dramatization of all this too.